Hello and welcome to 401k University Class 102 Investments. I am your host, Stephen Lorio. Now that we know the most important factor to making a 401k successful, we can discuss other parts that factor into that success as well. Our agenda, overview, 401k and the car, a parallel continued, you as an investor, do it for me, help me do it, let me do it, and recap. Section 1, Overview. Here then is the topic that generates the greatest sum of discourse when it comes to 401k, whether it is related to the stock markets, the bond markets, commodities, fees, legislation, regulation, or a bevy of other topics. It all seems to swirl around 401k investments. Remember though, the most important factor in determining the success of your 401k is not to be found here in investments. Class 101, When is enough enough? And its topics hold more important information than what is discussed below. That's not to say that what we discuss here is not important, but always remember the importance of contributions. Investing is a challenging subject for many people as it is something that is known to be important, but that few of us have ever had any education on. As such, we will be discussing investments not from a technical perspective, but from a behavioral one. Section 2, 401k and the car, a parallel continued. Returning to our parallel with the 401k and the car, if the 401k is like a car and contributions like gas, a fuel is more appropriate, but let's keep it simple, that investments are like the engine. Much like investments, people's discussion of engines generates a lot of discourse. In addition, people's interest in engines varies greatly. Most people know that the engine is important to get around, but not many have ever changed their own oil, and even less have ever taken an engine apart to rebuild, retune, or improve it. Most people are drivers, while some are engine enthusiasts, and a small portion are gearheads. Each of these have a parallel in 401k investments. Rather than try to teach everyone how to build an engine from scratch, this class will focus on providing information to help each type make better choices. Just like with engines, remember that behavioral investing is not a progression. One doesn't graduate from driver to engine enthusiast to gearhead. Not everyone needs to change their own oil or be confident in disassembling their engine to successfully use a car. Section 3. You as an investor. Using the engine's parallel as a guide, think of yourself as an investor and ask yourself the following question. When it comes to me and investing, I would rather my 401k let me do it. I have a plan and a goal that I will execute on. Simply give me the tools and step aside. Or help me do it. I have a plan and a goal that I will execute on, but I would like a sounding board to help me consider my options. I will pull the trigger and be responsible for executing though. Or do it for me. I have not the time, inclination, or knowledge to execute on this for myself. It's not to say that I can't, but rather that I have more important things in my life. So if a trusted source presented itself, I'd like them to handle this and free my life up for what really matters. Looking over these three options, most people feel like they should be, let me do it. However, by behavior, the sweeping majority of people are do it for me. People feel like they need to exhibit the traits shown in let me do it because they know investments are important. But something very shocking has revealed itself as time has borne on in the 401k, and that is that many times, those who are honest with themselves and use the options designed for do it for me outperform those who fool themselves into thinking they are let me do it or help me do it. Furthermore, this is not a progression system. One doesn't graduate from do it for me to help me do it to let me do it. It's about who you are as an investor, and many of us would rather do anything on the weekend than read financial reports. Be honest with yourself and be who you are. A tremendous amount of time and energy has been spent in developing powerful investments specifically for those who are do it for me. Section 4. Do it for me. The majority of people are this type of investor, and that's great. Accordingly, a tremendous amount of time and energy has gone into developing tools for just this group. Thinking aloud, an appropriate investment for people here would be one that handles the core principles of managing investments for the investor, specifically one that does the buy and sell decisions on the user's behalf. In so doing, it would build a pie chart with risk appropriate to the user's age. It would also rebalance to keep the pie chart on track as things fluctuate. And most important of all, it would reallocate the user's pie chart to increase exposure to less risky assets as one gets closer to one's goal of retirement. Wouldn't this be great? An investment that takes all of the heavy lifting and will do it for me. Well, thankfully, a category of investments happen to have been designed for just this purpose. The investments that fall in this category are called target date retirement funds. In fact, let's look at a hypothetical one now. The goal of any target date retirement fund is to help you achieve retirement in the namesake year of the fund. In this case, the goal is retirement in the year 2040, as identified in the name, the ABC Target Date Retirement Fund 2040. This year should correspond right around the year you reach retirement age, say 70. What we see is that the farther out we are from retirement, the more red or more risky investments there are. And the closer we are to retirement, the more yellow or less risky investments there are. While the ABC Target Date Fund 2040 is simply a hypothetical, this is how target date funds operate as a category. In so doing, they are able to satisfy the three crucial pieces of investment management for the goal of retirement mentioned above. As you look at the time spectrum in this picture, you can see the transformation from growth to moderate to conservative as your ability to handle risk changes. This is how target date retirement funds are designed and are appropriate specifically for do-it-for-me's. You focus on what really matters in life, and the target date fund handles your retirement monies for you. This makes investing a lot easier. Note that these funds are designed to be your sole 401k investment, 100% of your allocation. Target date retirement funds take a diversified approach in managing your retirement monies, so don't fret. A target date retirement fund is a basket of baskets. In closing, ask your plan advisor or HR group about the do-it-for-me options your plan has. You might even find that these are the default investment options for your plan. Section 5. Help Me Do It. For those who feel that Help Me Do It best describes them, reach out to your 401k plan's education support team. Likely, this is your 401k plan's advisor, but it could be the 401k provider itself. Talk through things with them, bounce ideas around, and be sure to educate yourself. Remember, your goal is to test your investment strategy ideas out and know how it deals with the following key areas. Taking care of the buy and sell decisions. In so doing, the goal is to build a pie chart with risk appropriate to your age. Rebalancing to keep your pie chart on track as things fluctuate. And most important of all, reallocating your pie chart to increase your exposure to less risky assets as you get closer to your goal of retirement. Keep asking questions until you are satisfied, and at the same time, after looking at all that goes into the three crucial steps in investing, you may decide that do-it-for-me is a better fit for your time after all. Nonetheless, be sure to check out our advanced classes to continue your education. Section 6. Let Me Do It. For those who are in the Let Me Do It category, reach out to your plan sponsor, get the full range of investments, and have at it. Be sure to talk with your ownership or HR group at the company and ask them if the plan offers options to give you greater access to investments. Some plans have much more restricted investment menus than others, while others offer complete open architecture to draw upon thousands of options. Sometimes, all it takes is a nudge to get your 401k onto a more powerful platform. So dig in, get that research going, and be sure to check out our advanced and expert classes. To recap, the most important aspect of investing is behavior. So be honest with yourself as an investor. Ask yourself the following question. When it comes to me and investing, I would rather the 401k do it for me, help me do it, or let me do it. The 401k is going to have options and resources to help each type of investor, so ask about them. Remember, this is not a progression system. One doesn't graduate from do it for me to help me do it to let me do it. It's about who you are as an investor, and many of us would rather do anything on the weekends than read financial reports. Be honest with yourself, be who you are, and find the investments and education that suit you accordingly. Congratulations! This concludes your basics curriculum. Our next class is the first in our intermediate series of classes, Class 200, History of the 401k. Intermediate and advanced class attendees should all visit this class next. We hope to see you there.